Here's a fact to chew on. Humans are wired to underestimate others. It's a psychological defense mechanism. People feel safer believing they've figured you out, or better yet, defeated you. Why? Because your resilience terrifies them. But here's the twist. You didn't just survive their games, you thrived in their chaos. Now you're standing there unbothered and unbroken while they're scratching their heads wondering, how is this even possible? It's like watching a cockroach dodge every shoe thrown at it. Annoyingly unkillable, but undeniably impressive. The truth? You didn't play by their rules because you never had to. They thought they had you cornered, but the joke's on them. You are the game, and they're still learning the instructions. Number 1, they confused your stillness for surrender. They thought your silence meant surrender. In their minds, quietness equals defeat, and your stillness was the proof they needed to believe they'd won. What they failed to understand is that silence can be far more dangerous than noise. While they were celebrating, you were strategizing. You weren't broken, just reloading. People confuse retreat with weakness because they've never had to endure the weight of real battles. They're used to flailing wildly, hoping chaos will distract from their own fragility. But you chose not to waste energy on pointless reactions. You observed, recalibrated, and let the storm settle before making your next move. That's what terrifies them now. They don't know what you'll do next. The truth is, stillness isn't passive. It's deliberate. It's the space where resilience sharpens itself, where wisdom finds clarity, and where strength regenerates. You weren't hiding, you were preparing. They mistook your restraint for fear because they don't understand what controlled power looks like. Now they're left confused because the person they thought was down and out is suddenly standing taller than before. It's almost comical, really. They thought they'd closed the chapter on you, not realizing you were rewriting the entire book. They relied on loud victories to fuel their egos, but you knew the real work happens in silence, away from the noise. Their arrogance blinded them to the fact that the quiet ones are often the most dangerous. Now, as you stand firm and unshaken, they're left with a haunting question. How did we miss this? The answer is simple. They weren't paying attention when it mattered most. While they were too busy celebrating, you were becoming unstoppable. Number 2, you survived what would have crushed them. They threw everything at you, thinking it would be enough to crush you. They schemed, they doubted, and they pushed you into situations that would have broken most people. The truth is, they didn't understand who they were dealing with. You didn't just endure. You survived what would have left them shattered. Here's the part that confuses them the most. The weight of what you carried would have buried them alive. They underestimated your strength because they can't fathom what it takes to rise after being dragged to the edge. They live in a world where a little adversity sends them scrambling for excuses or sympathy. You, on the other hand, learned to stand tall under pressure that would leave others crumbling. What they thought was your breaking point became your turning point. Every hardship, every betrayal, and every setback was like fire-testing gold, and instead of losing your value, you became even more refined. The very situations they orchestrated to see you fail are the same ones that expose their own weaknesses. Now they're left wondering, how did they survive that? How are they still standing? The answer is simple but brutal. You're built differently. You faced storms they couldn't even imagine, and instead of running, you stood in the middle of it and let it make you stronger. They can't admit it out loud, but they know the truth deep down. If the roles were reversed, they wouldn't have lasted a fraction of the time you did. That's why your survival confuses them. It exposes just how fragile they really are. You're not just standing, you're thriving, and that's something they'll never understand.